Hey everybody, this is Kyle. Here is my gig nightmare story. This is a collaboration with Matthew and Eve. Make sure you go to Matthew's channel after you watch my video and see his nightmare story. And also go to Eve's channel and check out her nightmare story as well. With our collaborations this year, the reactions are all things that we filmed last year, and we had so many of them, I was able to stretch them out over a long period of time. But the new collaborations are all going to be original content. And before we get to my story, a quick thank you to my patrons here. And Lance Fantassel's at the top of the list. My patrons get weekly music performance videos, lots of extras. I'm always sharing extra stuff and things. And whenever I move to monthly releases and things like that, mid and upper tier patrons are going to get previews of all that music. So thanks to them for helping keeping this content you're seeing right now going. Let's get to this video. Okay, so to set up this gig's nightmare story, I have to go back and give a tiny bit of backstory. So in 2018, I connected with a booking agent, set up my first tour, Midwest, and then I was part of a weekly songwriter group that was having a showcase in January of 2019 in New York City. So I had all this stuff going on, and I was learning so much about, booking myself, playing all these gigs, getting out of my area, getting to go to New York and stuff, which always sounds, real cool and stuff. Now, going back home to St. Louis. St. Louis is very, very pockety. So like where I am in the county, it's easier to get county gigs. And if I go in a city, it's like, oh, you're not a city guy. Or if I go to a different county, oh, you're not from our county. If I go east side, if I'm, northeast side or southeast side, and it, gets complicated and stuff. So I set up my first gig in a new territory in St. Charles. And St. Charles is very, very, very closed, and it took a little bit of work. So when I set up this gig, the initial idea was there was some traveling person coming through. I was going to be one of the opening support acts. Like, hey, cool, no big deal. I get paid, and don't have to play but an hour. So a week or a week and a half before, my contact there said, hey, that person canceled. Do you know anybody like locally? And then you two could just split the time between you. And I knew a songwriter from that area that had a good name in that county. And he said he would play with me. He was open at night. So it was going to be he and I. And this was really cool for me because, this guy, had a really good reputation and stuff. So first time going to this bar, and as well as places where you kind of get syphilis just by walking in the door, So you walk in and, it's like, hey, cool. I've been in places like this before. It's, whatever. You just, try not to touch anything for too long. And so the contact was working there. And, she had this sound system and had us, set up and all these things. So got everything set up, everything, is getting ready to go. And I'm talking to the contact. It's like, hey, I am fine playing all original music if that's what you want. The other guy talked to me and said, hey, I don't know if I could play originals for like 2 hours, an hour and a half. I could do an hour, but a little bit more than that. And so I checked with her. It's like, hey, do you care if we mix in some covers? She said, yeah. So do a sound check. We get ready. I was going to play first, then he was going to play. And we get halfway through. And as he is ending, his first set, which would put us about halfway through a 4-hour gig, I go and ask her, I go, hey, how's everything sounding? And she just kind of gives me this look of attitude. Well, he sounds really good. Right. Well, okay. So the sound levels and everything like that. Okay. It's like, oh yeah, he's sounding really good. I'm like, okay, well, I was thinking, it's like, well, that's a weird response. So I get up in third set, and this whole time I am playing about 60-70% original music. So I'm doing about, and in 5 songs, I'm doing at least 3 originals, I might do 1 or 2 covers and stuff. So I play a set and I'm just killing it. And with my show at that time, I was doing my full live looping thing. I pre-recorded drums. I had guitar, bass live, use pedals and things. And the other performer said, hey, I heard you mention Van Halen. Which Van Halen song is it? And I was like, ain't talking about love. And I just nailed that song. It was, and he and I were having so much fun. There were a few people there. It wasn't like too crowded or anything, but it was one of those places that didn't get too crowded anyway. And so I was feeling really good. You know, had this nice string of shows the months prior, got to play with him, and and he was somebody I thought would, be a good connection.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the night, I go to get us paid. And the lady hands me money. It's like, oh, well, this is for him. I'm like, okay. And she's like, I'm going to pay you. I'm going to be honest. I don't want to pay you. It's like, what's wrong? Well, if I wanted a jukebox, I would have just turned on the jukebox. I was like, what do you mean? It's like,
Mm-hmm.
it's like I do use pre-recorded drums, but, and as I was saying, but she just went off on me for 15 to 20 minutes straight. And here's the situation. She was another musician.
What'd she
And
say?
oh my God, I wish I could remember. It was one of those things, like the first couple minutes, I was stunned. I was like, is this a real situation? After 5 minutes, I got a little ticked off. But then after about 8 minutes, I was like, oh my God, it's like you're just sitting there getting punched in the face. And it's like, it's like, because I try to explain, it's like, hey, I was up front. I live loop. I get a full band sound just by myself. I'm not playing backing tracks. Yes, the drums are, I could see you thinking that. But the situation was that she was there at the bar, just reaming me. I mean, just totally. I mean, it's like a weird, like dominatrix session or something. I mean, I was just getting just beat. I mean, I was just, oh my Lord, it was this. I was just getting. She was just manhandling me. Her boyfriend was sitting at the bar sipping his beverage, just kind of giggling to himself. So what I think the deal was is because she played and her boyfriend wanted to make her feel better about whatever her situation was, which I'd never heard of her or whatever. I don't know. I think he just kind of fueled whatever, but and at the end of that, she did give me the money, and I said, well, thank you. Sorry that there was some confusion. I tried to, and she was just, and I knew at that point, it's like, no matter what I say, it's completely worthless. So I went and paid the other guy. And then, I got my stuff and left. I was a little shell shocked. It's like, dude, I didn't play poorly. I didn't mess songs up or, it's just one of those things like out of nowhere. And it was weird because it's so indicative of some of the weird kind of regional clannish behavior of St. Louis. Like, you cross a river into a different county and all of a sudden no one knows nor cares about you and they hate you just because you're there. It's this kind of weird neighborhood type deal. But I text
the Midwest thing.
Yeah. I text the guy after. I was like, dude, I am sorry if I played poorly or if it was a rough show. And he's like, what are you talking about? And so I called and explained to him what the lady said. He's like, I was wondering what was taking so long. And she seemed to like be really upset. I'm like, dude, you wouldn't, it was the weirdest thing. And talking about, because I'm very much a non-ego person, but man, talking about just kicking me, over and over. I'm like, what? It's like, I didn't know what to do. It's like, do I like cause a scene or, so yeah, it's one of my stories.
Oh man, dude, like why couldn't they just be upfront with you and be like, okay, yeah, you can have the gig, but we need,
Yeah, just use an acoustic.
no loops, no, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just tell you what they want. Like the other guy, was he just doing acoustic and vocal?
Yeah.
Is that the difference?
Yeah, and he did mostly covers, as it turned out.
Oh, so it sounds to me like that, and I mean, I'm not trying to be cynical here, but it
Yeah.
sounds to me like that lady who was in charge of paying you was literally just trying to manipulate you into being able to keep the money and
Yeah.
seeing if she could get away with it, and giving you a whole bunch of emotional garbage at the same time,
Yeah.
instead of just being upfront with you and saying, yeah, you can have the gig, but it's an acoustic gig. I just want guitar, vocals, maybe some lead guitar, or
Yeah.
a harmonica or saxophone or whatever you got. That's it. I just want instruments. I don't want anything pre-recorded. I don't want anything looped. And
Yeah.
just do it organic.
Yeah.
but plus she wasn't upfront with you, and so yeah.
It was devastating, man.
I mean, as a musician, I can understand liking it a little better when it's all live, all organic. But I mean, if you're trying to make people dance, that's hard with just acoustic guitar and
Yeah.
vocal.
Yeah. You
Yes.
think
Shall we?
musicians would know that?
I was gonna say, there was a band I played in. Uh, yeah, right. I was right after um, the band that I played in that was my first gig nightmare, called Ecstasy. And when we first started playing live, we had a live drummer, and then it was months and months down the line where we made a decision to play the pre-recorded live tracks.
Mhm.
And I mean, that is a brave decision. I would say. I mean, and it was a brave decision back then. Anyways, I mean, it's more commonplace now. I mean, I have a friend Jory, who just that's what he does. Um, but yeah, no, I think even now people aren't really used to that, like one person band, and it just to certain people it comes off like uh just a
I've had what
certain
I've
way.
done
And
called saxioke, like I'm doing a dinner, and they're paying me. They're paying me good, and I play for an hour, and I have pre-recorded background tracks that I purchased and
yeah,
paid for, and so in my mind, I should have the rights to it because I paid for it to perform it.
yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
different story. But
Or
anyway,
you
you know, I've had people that loved it, and they're just, oh man,
yeah.
whatever to get that beautiful saxophone out there. And then other people that's like, you're just doing saxioke. Where's your band? Where's your drummer and your bass player? You suck. Okay, thanks. So I get what you're saying there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It, I
No,
was gonna. Oh, go ahead, Eve.
no, sorry. No, I was gonna say, like, whenever I like try to, because I know a bunch of people that do this. Whenever I try to talk them up, they're like, "Oh, that sounds boring," or something like that. They'll make that comment, and I'm just thinking, like, well, they're, how much work they're actually putting. Most of these
Mm-hmm.
people are putting into, like, being getting to that level. They are the band. And I mean, despite your reservations, um most of these artists sound good with backing tracks, in my opinion. Yeah, it's being pumped through a sound system, and it's not like like, I guess, this all encompassing feel that um the like audience members want, or whatever that means. I don't know. I don't even know how I feel about that statement. But it's just like, they don't even respect, like, the work, the time and energy that someone puts into being able to do that. It's baffling. It's baffling.
Yeah. For me, the like when setting up a gig and whatnot, it's always other musicians that that don't get it or something. I'm thinking, how is it's like there was a microbrew here in St. Louis I've been talking to and sent them some video, and they're like, "Oh, well, we like it when people just actually play the stuff." I go, you realize I'm a live looper, right? So I record everything in front of the people. I go, I can play with just acoustic if that's what you like. And kind of like in the case of the story, it's like I don't get why other musicians get so bent out of shape. It's like you go see your favorite band, they got backing tracks. It's like, what is wrong with someone locally doing something? And like Matthew said, it is so hard to make people dance without drums, for real.
Mm-hmm.
You're at a
Right.
bar,
Yeah.
strumming your face
They're
off with
expecting
acoustic.
you
Yeah.
to get people off their butt. Keep the music upbeat and lively. Oh my God, do you know how many times people said, keep it upbeat, keep
Yeah.
it upbeat? And it's like, I'm just a guitar and vocal.
It's like, yeah.
You
Like,
want me to just play Brown Eyed Girl over and over for 3 hours? Is that what you
Fa la
want?
la.
it's that one drunk boomer that's like
Actually,
Freebird
that
or
is what I want,
whatever.
but do it Buffett
Like,
style.
Yeah.
it's just, oh my god, I've encountered that so many times, and I'm just like, dude, go sit down.
Yeah.
Wow. For a minute there, you were a complete shadow, Eve. It was kind of cool.
Yeah, it was
Oh.
it was very metal. It was
Yeah.
it's like,
I mean,
hey,
I am a shadow, didn't you know?
hey. Your accent came through right there, didn't you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I lived in Minnesota for 6 years, so it's
Yeah.
bound to happen.
That's funny.
But